The mansion was dark except for one room. Dominic Hayes pushed open the library door at 1:17 a.m. and froze. A young black woman was slumped over his desk, her face pressed against an open anatomy textbook. Empty coffee cups surrounded her like a fortress of exhaustion. Her braids had come loose from their tie, and even in sleep, her brow was furrowed with stress. He recognized her instantly. Simone. Gloria's daughter. His housekeeper had mentioned her daughter was in college, but he'd never seen her in his home before. The girl's chest rose and fell with shallow breaths. Her scrubs, visible beneath a thin jacket, were wrinkled and stained. Her phone buzzed on the desk, and the notification read, "Shift starts in 5 hours." Dominic cleared his throat softly. Simone jerked awake, her eyes wide with panic. She knocked over 2 coffee cups as she scrambled to stand. "Mr. Hayes. I'm so sorry. I didn't think you'd be back tonight. I'll leave right now." Her hands shook as she gathered her books. Dark circles shadowed her beautiful brown eyes. She couldn't have been older than 22. "Please," he said gently. "Sit down. You're exhausted." "I shouldn't be here," Simone whispered, but she swayed on her feet. When was the last time she'd eaten? "Mom doesn't know I've been coming here. Your library is quiet and warm, and my apartment." She trailed off, tears filling her eyes. Dominic pulled out a chair. "Sit. Tell me what's going on." Simone collapsed into the chair as if her legs could no longer hold her. "My heat got shut off 2 weeks ago. I work nights at the hospital, evenings at a restaurant, and mornings at a grocery store. I'm in nursing school during the day. I can't study at home because it's freezing. I found your spare key in Mom's things months ago and I needed a warm place to study. I'm so sorry. Have you ever been so desperate that you had to choose between staying warm and staying honest? Drop a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe to see how this story changes everything." The textbook in front of her was for advanced pharmacology. Her notes were meticulous despite her obvious exhaustion. This girl wasn't lazy or looking for handouts. She was drowning. "How many hours of sleep do you get?" he asked. 3, maybe 4, Simone admitted. "Sometimes less. I'm failing my classes even though I know the material. I'm just too tired to think straight during exams. I want to quit, but Mom worked so hard to help me get here. She'll be devastated if I drop out." Dominic had built his healthcare empire from nothing. He understood struggle. But this level of suffering while trying to learn? That wasn't right. "When do you actually have time for yourself?" "I don't." Simone wiped her eyes. "But that's okay. It's temporary. Once I graduate, I can get a good job and pay off my loans and help Mom retire. She's been cleaning houses for 30 years. She deserves rest." The girl was sacrificing her health, maybe her life, for a dream that was slipping away because she couldn't afford basic necessities. Dominic made a decision. "I want you to listen to me very carefully. You're not in trouble for being here. In fact, I'm glad you felt safe enough to come." Simone looked up at him with confusion. "You're not angry?" "Not even a little bit," Dominic said. "But we need to talk about how we're going to fix this situation. Tomorrow morning. For now, there's a guest room upstairs. You're going to sleep in a real bed tonight." "Mr. Hayes, I can't." "You can, and you will," he said firmly but kindly. "You have a shift in 5 hours. You need rest. We'll talk after you're done with work tomorrow. I have some ideas that might help." Simone's lower lip trembled. "Thank you," she whispered. "You don't know what this means." But Dominic did know. He'd been that desperate once. And now he had the power to change someone's life. He just had to convince her to let him. Simone appeared at Dominic's office the next evening, still in her hospital scrubs. She'd called ahead nervously, and his assistant had told her to come straight up. She clutched her backpack like a shield as she entered his spacious corner office overlooking the city. "Thank you for meeting me," Simone said quietly. "I wanted to explain better about last night." Dominic gestured to the comfortable couch rather than the formal chairs across from his desk. "Please, sit. Can I get you anything? Water? Food? You look like you came straight from work." "I did." Simone perched on the edge of the couch. My shift ended 20 minutes ago. I have class in an hour, then my restaurant shift starts at 7. That's 15 hours between shifts, Dominic calculated. Where's the time for studying? Sleeping? Simone's eyes welled up again. She seemed to cry easily these days, probably from exhaustion. I study during my breaks. I sleep when I can. Usually in my car between the restaurant and grocery store shifts. It's not ideal, but it's what I have to do. Tell me about your classes, Dominic said. What are you studying? Nursing. I'm in my 3rd year. Simone pulled out her transcript from her bag. I had a 3.8 GPA my first year. But this semester I'm barely holding a 2.5. I'm not stupid, Mr. Hayes. I know this material. I just can't stay awake during exams. Last week I actually fell asleep during a practical. My professor gave me a second chance, but he said if it happens again, I'll fail. Dominic reviewed her grades. The decline was sharp and recent. What changed? Why are you working so many jobs now? My scholarship got reduced this year because of budget cuts. My student loans don't cover everything. I have tuition, books, rent, food, utilities, and mom's medical bills. Simone's voice cracked. She has diabetes. Her insulin is expensive even with insurance. She doesn't know I've been helping with her medications. She thinks her insurance covers more than it does. The picture became clearer. This young woman was supporting herself and subsidizing her mother's healthcare while trying to complete one of the most demanding degree programs. Does Gloria know how bad things are? No. Simone shook her head firmly. She'd quit her job and try to help me. But Mr. Hayes, she's 61 years old. She has arthritis in her knees. She needs to work another few years to get full social security. I can't let her sacrifice more for me. She's already given up everything. Dominic felt anger rising, not at Simone or Gloria, but at a system that forced good people into impossible choices. What happens if you fail out of school? I lose everything, Simone said simply. The loans come due immediately. I'll have debt but no degree. I'll be stuck in minimum wage jobs forever. And Mom's sacrifices will have been for nothing. She looked at him directly. That's why I used your library. I wasn't trying to steal or cause problems. I just needed a place to study where I could focus. Where it was warm and quiet. I'm sorry I did it without permission. Stop apologizing, Dominic said gently. You did what you had to do to survive. There's no shame in that. He leaned forward. But Simone, you can't keep living like this. You're going to make yourself sick. Or worse, you'll have an accident from exhaustion. Should anyone have to choose between their education and their health? Comment below if you've ever felt this desperate, and subscribe to find out what happens when someone finally offers to help. I don't have a choice, Simone whispered. Actually, you do, Dominic said. I have a proposition for you. I want you to hear me out completely before you respond. Simone nodded slowly, fear and hope warring in her eyes. I own Hayes Healthcare Corporation. We operate hospitals, research facilities, and community health programs across the state. I'm always looking for talented people who understand both the medical and administrative sides of healthcare. He paused. Your grades from your first year show you're brilliant. Your current situation shows you're determined. Those are exactly the qualities I need. I don't understand, Simone said. I want to offer you a full scholarship for the remainder of your nursing program, Dominic continued. In exchange, you'll work part-time in my company's research department. 20 hours a week at a salary that will cover your living expenses and help with Gloria's medical bills. You'll quit your other 3 jobs immediately. Simone's mouth fell open. Mr. Hayes, that's too much. I can't accept charity. It's not charity, Dominic corrected. It's an investment. You'll earn every penny through your work. And when you graduate, you'll have the option to continue with the company if you choose. No obligation, but the door will be open. Tears streamed down Simone's face. Why would you do this for me? Because 30 years ago, I was sleeping in my car while trying to build my first business. Someone gave me a chance when I needed it most. I'm successful now because of that chance. Dominic handed her a tissue. Let me be that person for you. You deserve to finish your education without sacrificing your health. I want to say yes, Simone sobbed. But it feels too good to be true. It's real, Dominic assured her. My lawyers will draw up the paperwork tomorrow. You'll have a contract that protects both of us. Everything will be official and above board. Simone wiped her eyes and looked at him with something like wonder. Then yes. Yes, I accept. Thank you, Mr. Hayes. You have no idea what this means to me and my mom. Dominic smiled. Call me Dominic. And I think I have some idea. Welcome to Hayes Healthcare, Simone. The next morning, Simone sat in a conference room at Hayes Healthcare Corporation headquarters, still unable to believe this was happening. A kind woman named Patricia from Human Resources was walking her through the employment contract. Everything Dominic had promised was there in writing. You'll work 20 hours per week in our medical research department, Patricia explained. Your supervisor will be Dr. Rachel Kim, head of Community Health Initiatives. She's expecting you Monday morning. Your starting salary is $45,000 annually, prorated for part-time hours. Simone's hands trembled as she signed each page. $45,000. That was more than all three of her jobs combined. And the scholarship. Mr. Hayes has established an educational grant specifically for you. It covers full tuition, books, and fees for the remainder of your nursing program. The only requirement is that you maintain a 3.0 GPA, which given your first-year performance, should be very manageable without the stress of financial hardship. I don't know what to say, Simone murmured. Patricia smiled warmly. Mr. Hayes does this more often than people know. He believes in investing in people. You must have impressed him greatly. After signing the final document, Simone was given a building access badge, a company laptop, and a welcome packet. She stared at the badge with her photo and name, Simone Jackson, Research Associate. It felt surreal. One more thing, Patricia said. Mr. Hayes wanted me to give you this. She handed Simone an envelope. Inside was a check for $5,000 and a note in neat handwriting, for your immediate expenses. Pay your rent, turn your heat back on, buy groceries, and get your mother's prescriptions filled. Consider it a signing bonus. You've earned it. Dominic. Simone pressed the note to her chest and cried. Not from exhaustion or stress this time, but from overwhelming relief and gratitude. For the first time in months, she could breathe. That evening, Simone went home to her apartment with bags of groceries and a check to pay her overdue utility bills. She called the power company immediately and arranged payment. Heat would be restored by tomorrow morning. Then she sat at her small kitchen table and called her mother. Mom, can you come over? I need to talk to you about something. Gloria arrived 30 minutes later, worry etched on her face. Baby, what's wrong? Are you okay? Sit down, Mom. Simone took her mother's hands. I need to tell you the truth about what's been happening. She explained everything. The shut-off heat, the 3 jobs, the failing grades, the nights studying in Dominic's library. Gloria's face cycled through shock, anger, and heartbreak. Why didn't you tell me? She whispered. Because you would have tried to fix it, and I couldn't let you sacrifice more, Simone said. But Mom, something amazing happened. Mr. Hayes found me in his library, and instead of being angry, he offered to help. She explained the scholarship and the job. Gloria listened with growing astonishment. He's paying for your school? Giving you a real job? Yes. I start Monday. I can quit all my other jobs. I'll have time to study and sleep and actually live my life. Simone squeezed her mother's hands. And Mom, there's more. I can help with your medications now. Real help. You don't have to ration your insulin anymore. Gloria burst into tears. That man is an angel. I've worked for him for 5 years, and he's always been good to me, but this is beyond anything I could have imagined. I know, Simone said softly. I didn't want to accept at first. It felt like too much. But Mom, he made it clear this isn't charity. I'll be working for everything he's providing. He believes in me. Of course he does, Gloria said fiercely. You're brilliant and strong, And you deserve every opportunity. I'm just grateful someone with resources finally recognized that. She pulled Simone into a tight hug. My baby is going to finish school. You're going to be a nurse. And you won't kill yourself getting there. What would you do if someone offered to change your entire life in one conversation? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for the next chapter. They spent the evening cooking dinner together for the first time in months. Simone actually tasted her food instead of shoveling it down between shifts. She laughed at her mother's stories. She felt lighter than she had in a year. Before bed, Simone opened her anatomy textbook at her own kitchen table, in her own apartment, with the heat running. She studied for 2 hours and retained more information than she had in weeks of exhausted cramming. Then she set her alarm for 7 a.m. instead of 4 a.m. and climbed into bed. For the first time in months, Simone slept through the entire night. No alarm interruptions for shift changes. No waking up in her cold car. Just deep, restorative sleep. When she woke Monday morning, she dressed in the professional clothes she'd bought over the weekend with part of the signing bonus. She looked at herself in the mirror and barely recognized the woman staring back. Her eyes were bright. Her smile was real. She looked like someone with a future. Simone drove to Hayes Healthcare Corporation with butterflies in her stomach. This was the first day of her new life. She wasn't going to waste it. The receptionist directed her to the research department on the 8th floor. Dr. Rachel Kim greeted her warmly. You must be Simone. Welcome to the team. Dominic spoke very highly of you. Thank you for this opportunity, Simone said sincerely. I promise I'll work hard. I don't doubt it, Dr. Kim said. Let me show you to your workspace and introduce you to the team. We're developing community health programs for underserved populations. Your perspective as someone who's lived that experience will be valuable. Simone's workspace was a small office with a window overlooking the city. She had a desktop computer, a phone, and a nameplate that read Simone Jackson, Research Associate. She ran her fingers over the letters and smiled. This was real. This was happening. And she was going to make the most of it. Simone's first week at Hayes Healthcare flew by in a blur of orientation sessions, team meetings, and project briefings. Dr. Kim's department was working on a pilot program to provide free health screenings in low-income neighborhoods. Simone's role was to help design outreach materials and coordinate with local clinics. We need someone who understands the barriers people face when accessing healthcare, Dr. Kim explained during a team meeting. Not just financial barriers, but cultural ones. Trust issues. Language barriers. Transportation challenges. Simone raised her hand tentatively. When my mom first got diagnosed with diabetes, she didn't fill her insulin prescription for 2 months because she was afraid of the cost. She rationed her test strips and didn't tell me how bad her symptoms were getting. It wasn't until she passed out at work that I found out. The room went silent. Dr. Kim leaned forward. That's exactly the kind of insight we need. What would have helped your mother? Clear pricing upfront, Simone said. She didn't know about assistance programs because no one told her they existed. And the pharmacy was intimidating. Everything was fast and clinical. She felt like she was bothering people by asking questions. Dr. Kim nodded vigorously. So we need materials that explain assistance programs in simple language, and we need to train pharmacy staff on patient-centered communication. Simone, can you draft a proposal for a patient navigation program? Someone who helps people understand their options and access resources. Yes, Simone said immediately. I can have something ready by Friday. After the meeting, her coworker Jordan, a public health analyst, approached her desk. That was impressive. You've been here 4 days and you're already contributing at a senior level. Simone blushed. I'm just sharing what I've experienced. It's not that special. It is, though, Jordan insisted. Most people in healthcare administration have never faced those barriers. They mean well, but they design programs from an outsider perspective. You're giving us an insider view. That's incredibly valuable. That Friday, Simone presented her patient navigation proposal to Dr. Kim and the senior leadership team. She'd worked late every night, balancing her research work with her nursing school classes. But unlike before, she wasn't exhausted. She had energy. She had focus. She had hope. "Excellent work," Dr. Kim said after the presentation. "I'm forwarding this to Mr. Hayes for approval. If he agrees, and I suspect he will, we'll pilot this program in 3 neighborhoods starting next quarter." Simone couldn't believe it. Her idea might actually become reality. She might actually help people like her mother. That afternoon, Dominic stopped by the research department. It was the first time Simone had seen him since signing her contract. "Dr. Kim tells me you're exceeding expectations," he said, leaning against her office doorway. "I'm trying my best," Simone said. "Everyone here has been so welcoming. I love the work we're doing." "Good." Dominic smiled. "How are your classes going?" "Much better. I took a makeup exam last week and got an A. My professor was shocked. I told him I'd finally gotten enough sleep." She laughed. "He said whatever I was doing differently, I should keep doing it." "I'm glad to hear it." Dominic glanced at her desk, which was covered in research papers and sticky notes. "You're not overworking yourself again, are you?" "No," Simone assured him. "I'm learning to balance everything. It helps that I'm not juggling 3 jobs anymore." She hesitated, then added, "Thank you again, Dominic. I know I keep saying it, but I mean it every time. You changed my life." "You changed your own life," Dominic corrected gently. "I just provided an opportunity. You're the one doing the work." After he left, Jordan appeared at Simone's door. "Okay, spill. What's the story with you and the boss? He never comes down here." "There's no story," Simone said quickly. "He's just checking on me because I'm new." Jordan raised an eyebrow. "The CEO doesn't personally check on new research associates." "There's definitely a story. His housekeeper is my mom," Simone explained. "He's being kind to her daughter. That's all." "If you say so," Jordan said skeptically. But they dropped the subject. That weekend, Simone studied for her midterm exams with actual focus. She'd caught up on all her missed assignments and was back on track academically. Her professors had noticed the change. One had even pulled her aside to say how proud she was of Simone's turnaround. On Monday, Dr. Kim called Simone into her office with a huge smile. "Mr. Hayes approved your patient navigation program. He's allocated funding for a full-scale rollout in 6 neighborhoods instead of 3. He was very impressed with your proposal." Simone's heart soared. "Really? He's funding the whole thing? Not just funding it. He wants you to lead the implementation team. It'll mean more responsibility, but also a salary increase and a promotion to research coordinator." Dr. Kim handed her a new contract. "Congratulations, Simone. You've earned this." Simone stared at the paper, her vision blurring with happy tears. 3 weeks ago, she'd been sleeping in her car and failing her classes. Now she was being promoted and leading a program that would help thousands of people. She thought about the night Dominic found her in his library. How terrified she'd been. How certain she was that her dreams were slipping away. And how one person's kindness had changed everything. "I accept," Simone whispered. "And I won't let you down." 2 months into her new position, Simone was thriving. Her patient navigation program was in the pilot phase, and early results were promising. People were accessing care they'd previously avoided. Her nursing school grades were back up to a 3.7 GPA. And she'd moved into a better apartment with heat that actually worked. The company was hosting a fundraising gala for the Community Health Initiative, and all staff were invited. Simone almost didn't go. She felt awkward at fancy events. But Jordan insisted, helping her pick out a simple but elegant navy dress from a department store. "You have to come," Jordan urged. "Dr. Kim wants the whole team there. Plus, the food is amazing, and there's an open bar." The gala was held in a downtown hotel ballroom. Crystal chandeliers sparkled overhead. People in expensive suits and gowns mingled with champagne flutes. Simone felt out of place immediately, but she spotted Dr. Kim and her team and headed over. "Simone, you look beautiful," Dr. Kim said warmly. "Come meet some of our major donors." They'll want to hear about the patient navigation program directly from you. For the next hour, Simone spoke with wealthy philanthropists who seemed genuinely interested in the work. She told stories about patients who'd accessed life-saving medications through the program, about families who finally understood their health insurance options, about the difference one caring navigator could make. "You're very passionate about this work," one elderly donor observed. "What drew you to healthcare?" "I watched my mother struggle to manage her diabetes because she couldn't afford proper care," Simone said honestly. "I never want anyone else to feel that helpless." The donor's eyes softened. "That's why this program matters. Thank you for sharing your story, dear." After the presentation, Simone needed air. She stepped onto the ballroom balcony overlooking the city lights. The cool evening breeze felt refreshing after the crowded room. "Hiding?" Dominic's voice came from behind her. Simone turned to find him leaning against the doorframe, holding 2 glasses of sparkling cider. "Not hiding. Just taking a break. It's overwhelming in there. I know the feeling." He handed her a glass. "I saw you talking with the donors. You were impressive." "Thank you." Simone sipped the cider. "They seemed interested in the program. Dr. Kim said we might get additional funding from some of them." "You will," Dominic said confidently. "You have a gift for making people understand why this work matters." "That's rare." They stood in comfortable silence for a moment, looking out at the city. Then Dominic said, "I noticed your presentation mentioned classic public health case studies. Do you have a favorite?" "The Jamaica plain cholera outbreak investigation," Simone said immediately. The way they traced the source through community interviews and mapping was brilliant for that era. Dominic's face lit up. Most people would say Snow's Broad Street pump study, but the Jamaica plain case is more fascinating because of the community engagement component. "Exactly," Simone said enthusiastically. "They actually listened to the people living through the crisis instead of just imposing solutions from the outside." "That's your philosophy too," Dominic observed. "The patient navigation program works because it's designed by someone who's lived the experience." They talked for 30 minutes about public health history, healthcare policy, and the challenges of community-based medicine. Simone was surprised by how easy it was to talk to him. Not as her boss or her benefactor, but as someone who genuinely understood and cared about the same things she did. "I didn't know you were interested in public health history," Simone said. "I thought your background was business." "It is, but I minored in sociology. I wanted to understand the systems that create inequality, not just make money." Dominic smiled. "My professors thought I was crazy. Most business students take easy electives. I was reading about social determinants of health." "That's why your company is different," Simone realized. "You actually care about the communities you serve, not just the profit margins." "Profit matters," Dominic said pragmatically. "But it's not the only thing that matters. What's the point of success if you're not using it to make things better?" Simone felt a flutter in her chest that had nothing to do with the champagne she wasn't drinking. She'd thought Dominic was just a kind, wealthy man who'd helped her out of obligation to her mother. But he was more than that. He was thoughtful and principled and genuinely good. "We should get back inside," Dominic said reluctantly. "People will wonder where I disappeared to." As they walked back into the ballroom, Jordan caught Simone's eye and mouthed, "What was that?" Simone just shook her head, but she couldn't stop smiling. The following week, Dominic stopped by the research department more frequently. He'd ask about the patient navigation program, but the conversations always expanded into discussions about music, books, or their shared love of old jazz records. "You like Billie Holiday?" Dominic asked one afternoon, noticing the playlist on her computer. "She's my favorite," Simone said. "My grandmother used to play her records on Sunday mornings. I grew up listening to that voice." "Mine too," Dominic said. "Well, not my grandmother. But my mother loved jazz. She'd play it while she cooked dinner. We should go to that jazz club on 5th Street sometime," Simone suggested impulsively. Then she froze. Had she just asked her boss on a date? But Dominic smiled. "I'd like that. How about Saturday night?" "Okay," Simone said, her heart racing. Saturday night. It wasn't a date, she told herself. It was just two colleagues who shared an interest in music. Nothing more. But when Saturday came, and she spent an hour choosing her outfit, she knew she was lying to herself. This felt like more than just friendship. And from the way Dominic looked at her when he picked her up, she suspected he felt it too. Gloria Jackson had always been perceptive. She'd raised Simone alone after her husband died, working multiple jobs to keep them afloat. She knew when her daughter was happy, stressed, or hiding something. And lately, Simone was definitely hiding something. "Baby, sit down," Gloria said one Sunday afternoon when Simone came over for dinner. "We need to talk." Simone immediately looked guilty. "About what?" "About you and Dominic Hayes." Gloria stirred the pot of greens on the stove. "Don't try to deny it. I've seen the way you smile when you mention work lately. And he's been different too. Asking about you more than usual." "Mom, it's not like that," Simone protested. "We're just friends. We both like jazz music and public health policy. We have things in common." Gloria raised an eyebrow. And does this friend take all his employees to jazz clubs on Saturday nights?" Simone's face heated. "You knew about that. I clean his house, remember? I see the concert tickets on his desk. I hear him humming while he gets ready." Gloria turned to face her daughter. "I'm not saying it's wrong, baby. I'm just saying I want to make sure you're being careful." "Careful how?" Simone asked. "He's a good man. I've worked for him for 5 years, and he's treated me with more respect than any employer I've ever had. But he's also a billionaire, Simone. You're 22 years old and still in nursing school. The power dynamic concerns me. He's never made me feel pressured or uncomfortable," Simone said quickly. "Everything he's done has been generous and appropriate. The scholarship, the job, all of it came with clear contracts and boundaries." "I know," Gloria said. "That's why I trust him more than I might otherwise. But feelings can complicate things, baby. If you're developing romantic feelings for him, and he for you, you need to be honest about what that means." Simone slumped in her chair. "I don't know what it means. We've been spending time together outside of work. We talk for hours about everything. He's brilliant and kind and he makes me laugh. But I don't know if he sees me as anything more than Gloria's daughter who is helping out." "That man sees you," Gloria said firmly. "I've watched him look at you when you're presenting at work. I've seen his face when someone mentions your name. He sees you, Simone. The question is whether you're ready for what that might mean. What if I'm not good enough for his world?" Simone whispered. "I'm still paying off debt. I'm working my way through school. His friends are millionaires and philanthropists. I don't fit into that life." Gloria crossed the room and cupped Simone's face. "You listen to me. You are brilliant, compassionate, hardworking, and beautiful inside and out. Any man would be lucky to have you, billionaire or not. Don't ever let money make you feel less than what you are." "But what about you?" Simone asked. "If something happens between us and it ends badly, you could lose your job. I can't let my personal life affect your livelihood. I appreciate you thinking of me, but that's not your burden to carry," Gloria said. "Dominic isn't the kind of man who'd fire someone because a relationship didn't work out. And honestly, I think he's falling for you. Really falling. So maybe worry less about it ending badly and more about letting yourself be happy." That conversation played in Simone's head all week. Gloria was right. Simone had been holding back, afraid to acknowledge her feelings because of all the practical complications. But life was too short to not take chances on happiness. On Friday, Dominic asked if she wanted to grab dinner after work. They went to a small Italian restaurant, nothing fancy, and talked until the staff started stacking chairs on tables. "I need to tell you something," Simone said as they walked to his car. "I've been thinking a lot about us. About what this is." Dominic stopped walking. "What do you think it is?" "I think it started as you helping someone in need. But it's become more than that. At least for me." Simone took a breath. "I have feelings for you, Dominic. Real feelings. And I don't know if that's appropriate or if you feel the same way, but I needed to be honest." Dominic stepped closer. "I was hoping you'd say that, Because I've been falling for you since that night in my library. Maybe before that, if I'm honest. But I didn't want to make you uncomfortable or abuse the power I have in this situation. You haven't, Simone assured him. Everything you've done has been respectful and kind. But if we're going to explore this, we need to be smart about it. I don't want people thinking I got my job because of a personal relationship. Agreed, Dominic said. We'll keep it private at work. No special treatment. You'll continue reporting to Dr. Kim, and any interactions we have will be professional. Outside of work, we can see where this goes. Okay, Simone said softly. That sounds good. Dominic smiled and brushed a braid behind her ear. So, does this mean I can officially call our jazz club outings dates? Simone laughed. Yes, you can call them dates. He kissed her then, gentle and sweet under the streetlight. When they pulled apart, Simone felt like she was floating. This was happening. Really happening. Later that night, she called Gloria. You were right, Mom. About all of it. I usually am, Gloria said with a smile in her voice. But what specifically was I right about this time? He has feelings for me too. We're going to try dating. Carefully and privately, but we're trying. Gloria was quiet for a moment. Then she said, I'm happy for you, baby. You deserve someone who sees how special you are. Just promise me you'll protect your heart while you're protecting your career. I promise, Simone said. I love you, Mom. I love you too. Now go to bed. You have a big presentation Monday, and you need your rest. Simone hung up, smiling. Everything was falling into place. She had her education, her career, and now the possibility of love with someone who truly understood her. Life was finally, beautifully good. Keeping their relationship private at work proved more challenging than expected. Not because Dominic showed favoritism, but because Simone's natural talent kept putting her in situations where he had to interact with her professionally. The patient navigation program is exceeding projections, Dr. Kim announced in a leadership meeting. We've served over 500 families in 3 months. Simone, can you walk us through the latest outcomes data? Simone stood and presented her findings. Healthcare access had increased by 40% in pilot neighborhoods. Patient satisfaction scores were higher than any previous program. And the cost per patient was lower than traditional models because navigators prevented expensive emergency room visits by connecting people with preventive care. This is exactly the kind of innovation I want to see, Dominic said from his seat at the head of the table. His tone was purely professional, but Simone caught the pride in his eyes. What's our plan for scaling this to additional communities? We've identified 8 more neighborhoods with similar demographic profiles, Simone explained. We'd need to hire and train 12 additional navigators, establish partnerships with local clinics, and develop neighborhood-specific outreach materials. Total implementation cost would be approximately $2 million over 18 months. Approved, Dominic said immediately. Work with finance to finalize the budget. I want this operational by next quarter. After the meeting, Jordan cornered Simone. Okay, seriously. What's going on? The CEO just approved a $2 million expansion based on your 15-minute presentation. That doesn't happen. The data speaks for itself, Simone said carefully. The program works. He'd be foolish not to expand it. Sure, but there's something else. You two barely look at each other in meetings, which is weird because you clearly respect each other's work. It's like you're actively trying not to interact. Jordan gasped. Oh my God. Are you dating him? Keep your voice down, Simone hissed. And no. I mean, not officially. It's complicated. I knew it, Jordan crowed. This is the best office gossip ever. Does Dr. Kim know? There's nothing to know, Simone insisted. We're taking things slow and keeping it separate from work. Which is why you can't tell anyone. I don't want people thinking I got where I am because of a personal relationship. Jordan's expression softened. Simone, no one who's worked with you would ever think that. You're legitimately brilliant at your job. But I get it. People love to gossip. They pretended to zip their lips. Your secret's safe with me. Despite their best efforts, word got around. Not because anyone saw them together, but because Dominic's behavior had changed in small, noticeable ways. He smiled more. He seemed lighter. And he'd started leaving the office at reasonable hours instead of working until midnight. "Mr. Hayes has a girlfriend," the receptionist whispered to the security guard. "I don't know who she is, but he's definitely dating someone. He whistles when he walks in now." Simone heard these rumors and cringed, but Dominic told her not to worry. "Let people speculate. As long as we maintain professional boundaries at work, there's nothing wrong with having a personal life." He was right, but it still felt strange. Especially when Gloria started receiving comments from other household staff. "Your daughter must be doing well at the company," one of the other housekeepers mentioned. "Mr. Hayes speaks very highly of her work." Gloria handled it gracefully, neither confirming nor denying anything beyond pride in Simone's accomplishments. But privately, she warned Simone to be prepared for increased scrutiny. "People will always have opinions about relationships between powerful men and younger women," Gloria said. "Especially when there's a financial component. You need to be ready for that judgment." "I know," Simone said. "But I'm not dating him for his money. I didn't even want his help initially. This happened because we genuinely connect." "I believe you, baby. Just make sure you protect yourself emotionally and professionally. Have your own money. Your own achievements. Don't become dependent on him, even if he offers." That advice proved wise when a major pharmaceutical company offered to partner with Hayes Healthcare on a new insulin access program. The pitch meeting was tense. The pharma executives wanted to use the patient navigation program as a marketing tool without actually reducing medication costs. "This isn't about marketing," Simone said firmly during the meeting. "It's about access. If you're not willing to provide insulin at cost to low-income patients, this partnership doesn't serve our community." The lead executive frowned. "Ms. Jackson, I don't think you understand the economics of pharmaceutical development. I understand that my mother rationed her insulin for months because she couldn't afford it," Simone shot back. "I understand that people die from diabetes complications because they can't pay for medication that costs pennies to produce. So either you're serious about access, or you're wasting our time." The room went silent. Dominic leaned forward. "Ms. Jackson is right. If you can't meet our terms, we'll find a partner who will." This meeting is over. After the pharma executives left, Dr. Kim high-fived Simone. "That was amazing. You just stood up to one of the biggest drug companies in the world." "I probably shouldn't have been so aggressive," Simone worried. "They might have offered something eventually." "No," Dominic said. "You held the line on our values. That's exactly what this company needs." He caught her eye briefly. "Well done." That night, they had dinner at Simone's apartment. She cooked pasta while Dominic opened a bottle of wine. "You were impressive today," he said. "Most people would have backed down when that executive challenged you." "I was terrified," Simone admitted. "But I kept thinking about Mom and all the other people struggling with diabetes. I couldn't let them use our program as a publicity stunt without actually helping." "That's what makes you good at this work," Dominic said. "You never forget who we're serving." Simone served the pasta and sat across from him. "Can I ask you something? Do you ever worry that people think I'm only successful because we're dating?" "No," Dominic said firmly. "Because anyone who works with you knows better. You earned your promotion. You designed a program that's changing lives. You negotiate with pharmaceutical executives like a seasoned executive. None of that has anything to do with me." "But people talk," Simone said. "Jordan figured it out. Others will too. Let them talk." Dominic reached across the table and took her hand. "I'm proud to be with you. I'm not hiding it because I'm ashamed. I'm being discreet because I respect your career and your independence. But Simone, you are remarkable. With or without me." She squeezed his hand, feeling her anxiety ease. He was right. She'd worked hard. She'd earned her place. And their relationship didn't diminish her accomplishments. "Thank you," she whispered. "For believing in me. Always," Dominic said. "Now eat your pasta before it gets cold." 3 months into their relationship, Hayes Healthcare faced its biggest challenge yet. A major investor, Preston Financial, threatened to pull funding from the Community Health Initiative. The portfolio manager claimed the programs weren't generating sufficient return on investment. "They want us to cut the patient navigation program," Dr. Kim told her team grimly. "They say it's not profitable enough to justify continued funding." Simone felt sick. The program was helping thousands of people. Cutting it would mean families losing access to care again. "There has to be another way." "The board meeting is tomorrow," Dr. Kim said. "Mr. Hayes is fighting to keep the program, but Preston Financial owns 20% of the company. Their vote matters." That night, Simone worked until 2 a.m. preparing a presentation. She gathered every data point, every success story, every metric that proved the program's value. Not just financial value, but human value. Jordan found her in the office at midnight. "You should go home. Get some rest." "I can't," Simone said. "If I can just show them the real impact, maybe they'll understand." "You're not responsible for saving the entire company," Jordan said gently. "No, but I'm responsible for the people depending on this program." Simone rubbed her tired eyes. "I've been exactly where they are. I know what it's like to choose between medication and rent. I can't let them go back to that without fighting." The next morning, Simone arrived at the board meeting in her best professional suit. She wasn't scheduled to present, but Dr. Kim had gotten her into the room as a subject matter expert. The Preston Financial portfolio manager, a stern man named Richard Caldwell, laid out his case. The patient navigation program costs more per patient than traditional clinic referrals. The ROI is negative. It needs to be cut to maintain profitability. "With respect," Dominic countered, "you're measuring the wrong metrics. This program prevents expensive emergency room visits. It reduces hospital readmissions. Those savings offset the navigator costs." "Show me the data," Caldwell demanded. Dominic looked at Dr. Kim, who nodded at Simone. Ms. Jackson prepared a comprehensive analysis. Simone stood on shaking legs and pulled up her presentation. "You're right that navigators cost more upfront than simple referrals. But let's look at the full picture." She showed emergency room utilization data. In pilot neighborhoods, ER visits for preventable conditions had dropped by 62%. Each ER visit costs the system an average of $2,000. We're preventing 400 visits per month across 6 neighborhoods. That's $800,000 in monthly savings. Caldwell frowned. "But those savings go to the hospitals, not to us. Actually, they come back to us through better insurance reimbursement rates and patient retention," Simone explained. "But more importantly, we're keeping people alive. We're preventing diabetic complications, catching cancers early, managing chronic conditions before they become crises." She pulled up a slide with photographs and quotes from program participants. "Real people with real stories. This is Mrs. Washington. She's 63. Before our program, she hadn't seen a doctor in 8 years because she couldn't afford the coparis. Her navigator helped her access a sliding scale clinic and apply for prescription assistance. Last month, they caught her ovarian cancer early. She's in treatment now and has a good prognosis." The room was silent. Simone continued, her voice steady despite her nerves. "This is Jerome Baker. He's 19. He has asthma but couldn't afford his inhaler. He was using the emergency room 4 times a month. Our navigator connected him with medication assistance and taught him how to manage his condition. He hasn't been to the ER in 3 months. He's enrolled in community college now." She showed 12 more stories. 12 more lives changed. This program isn't just about profit margins. It's about building healthier communities. Healthy people work more productively. They spend money in local economies. Their children do better in school. The long-term economic impact is enormous. "But it's still a loss center," Caldwell insisted. "Only if you measure success purely in quarterly returns," Simone said firmly. "If you look at 5-year projections, this program saves money and generates community goodwill that translates to brand loyalty and patient retention." Hayes Healthcare is known for caring about people, not just profits. That reputation is valuable. She pulled up her final slide, a cost-benefit analysis over 10 years. If we cut this program, we save $2 million annually. But we lose an estimated $15 million in long-term revenue from patient attrition and reputational damage. We also lose the human impact that defines this company's mission. Caldwell studied the numbers. The room was silent. Finally, another board member spoke. Ms. Jackson, you've made a compelling case. I move that we continue funding the patient navigation program and explore expansion rather than cuts. Seconded, another board member said. The vote passed 7-3. Preston Financial voted against, but they were outnumbered. The program would continue. After the meeting, Dr. Kim hugged Simone. You saved it. You actually saved it. I just showed them what was already there, Simone said, but she was shaking with relief and adrenaline. Dominic caught her eye across the room and smiled. He couldn't say anything in front of the board, but his expression said everything. He was proud. And more than that, he was awed. That night, he took her to their favorite jazz club. You were incredible today, he said over the music. I've been in business for 20 years, and I've never seen someone make a case that effectively. I was terrified, Simone admitted. I thought I'd mess it up. You didn't. You saved a program that helps thousands of people. Dominic took her hand. And you did it on the strength of your work and your passion. That's all you, Simone. Not me, not your education, not luck. You. She leaned against his shoulder, feeling the weight of the day lift. They'd won. The program would continue. And she'd proven, to herself and everyone else, that she belonged in that boardroom. I love you, she whispered, surprising herself. Dominic pulled back to look at her. What did you say? I love you, Simone repeated, more confidently. I know it's fast, and maybe it's unprofessional, but it's true. I love you. Dominic cupped her face and kissed her softly. I love you too. I have for a while. I just didn't want to rush you. They sat together in the dim jazz club, listening to a saxophone wail a beautiful melody, and felt perfectly content. This was real. This was right. And they were in it together. The next few months were blissful. Simone excelled in her role, earning respect from colleagues who'd initially been skeptical. The patient navigation program expanded to 12 neighborhoods with plans for 20 more. Her nursing school grades remained excellent, and she was on track to graduate in the spring. Her relationship with Dominic deepened. They spent weekends at jazz clubs, cooking together at her apartment, and taking long walks discussing everything from healthcare policy to their childhoods. He met her extended family at Thanksgiving. She met his parents at Christmas. Both families welcomed them warmly. Gloria watched her daughter bloom and thanked God every day for bringing Dominic into their lives. Not just for the financial support, but for the love and respect he showed Simone. You did good, baby, Gloria told Simone one Sunday afternoon. He's a keeper. I think so too, Simone said, smiling. Mom, I need to tell you something. Don't freak out. Gloria's eyes narrowed. That's never a good way to start a sentence. Dominic asked me to move in with him. Simone held up her hands. I said I needed to think about it. I didn't want to make a big decision without talking to you first. Why would you need my permission? You're an adult. But Gloria looked pleased. Because you're my mom, and your opinion matters. And because moving in with him feels serious. Like, heading toward marriage serious. Is that what you want? Gloria asked. Yes, Simone said softly. I love him, Mom. Really love him. And he loves me. He treats me like an equal, even though he has more money and experience. He respects my work. He encourages my education. He's everything I could want in a partner. Gloria pulled her daughter into a hug. Then you should do it. Live your life, baby. Be happy. That weekend, Simone told Dominic yes. They spent Sunday moving her things into his penthouse, which he immediately began calling their home instead of his place. We should redecorate, Dominic said, looking around at the minimalist modern furniture. Make it feel like both of us live here. I like it, Simone said. But maybe we could add some color. And photos. Lots of photos of people we love. They spent the evening arranging picture frames and discussing paint colors. It felt domestic and comfortable. Simone kept waiting for doubt or fear to creep in, but it never did. This felt right. At work, Jordan noticed immediately. You're glowing. Something's different. I moved in with someone, Simone admitted. The mysterious boyfriend you won't tell me about? Jordan teased. When do I get to meet him? Soon, Simone promised. She and Dominic had agreed to go public once she graduated. She wanted her degree in hand first, so no one could claim she hadn't earned it. Finals arrived in April. Simone studied hard but felt confident. She'd maintained her grades all year without the desperate exhaustion of previous semesters. The night before her last exam, Dominic made her favorite dinner and forbade her from studying. You know the material, he insisted. Rest your mind. Trust yourself. She aced the exam. 2 weeks later, she walked across the stage at her nursing school graduation. Gloria cried in the audience. Dominic stood beside her mother, cheering louder than anyone when Simone's name was called. After the ceremony, Simone introduced them to her classmates. This is my boyfriend, Dominic, and my mom, Gloria. Her classmates' eyes widened. Wait, Dominic Hayes? The CEO of Hayes Healthcare? That's the mysterious boyfriend, one of them whispered. Simone, you've been holding out on us. Simone just smiled. She'd earned her degree. Now she could be open about her relationship without worrying about judgment or accusations. That night, Dominic took her to an expensive restaurant. I'm so proud of you, he said, raising his champagne glass. You worked incredibly hard for this. I couldn't have done it without you, Simone said honestly. You gave me the chance to focus on school without worrying about survival. You would have found a way, Dominic said. You're too determined not to. I just made the path a little easier. He set down his glass and reached into his jacket pocket. Speaking of paths, I'd like to propose a new one. Simone's heart stopped as he pulled out a small velvet box. Simone Jackson, you are the most brilliant, passionate, caring person I've ever met. You've made me better. You've made my company better. You've made my life better in every possible way. He opened the box, revealing a simple but stunning diamond ring. Will you marry me? Could you say yes to someone who changed your entire life? Comment your thoughts below and subscribe to see how this beautiful story ends. Tears streamed down Simone's face. Yes. Yes, of course yes. Dominic slid the ring onto her finger and kissed her as the entire restaurant applauded. Simone laughed through her tears, feeling overwhelmed with joy. She'd come so far from that exhausted girl sleeping over textbooks in a cold library. She'd earned her education, built a successful career, and found love with someone who saw her for who she truly was. Life was everything she'd dreamed and more. I love you, she whispered against his lips. I love you too, Dominic said. Always. The engagement announcement made waves at Hayes Healthcare. Some people were genuinely happy for them. Others gossiped about the relationship between a CEO and an employee. But Simone didn't care. She'd proven herself professionally. Her work spoke for itself. Dr. Kim called her into the office the week after the engagement. I want to address the elephant in the room, she said bluntly. People are talking about your relationship with Dominic. I want you to know that from my perspective, you earned every promotion and every success on merit alone. Thank you, Simone said gratefully. That means a lot coming from you. However, I also want to encourage you to think about your next career move. Not because you're not valued here, but because staying at Hayes Healthcare long-term might limit your growth. People will always question whether opportunities are yours by merit or by relationship. It was harsh but fair advice. Simone appreciated the honesty. What do you suggest? Apply for the director position at the new Community Health Research Institute. It's an independent non-profit that partners with multiple healthcare systems. You'd be perfect for it, and it would establish your reputation as a leader in the field completely separate from Dominic. Simone considered it. The position would be challenging and prestigious. It would prove she could succeed anywhere, not just at her fiancé's company. I'll think about it. That night, she discussed it with Dominic. She worried he'd be hurt that she was considering leaving his company, but he surprised her. You should apply, he said immediately. Dr. Kim is right. You're too talented to let people diminish your accomplishments because of our relationship. And honestly, leading the research institute would be an incredible opportunity. You'd shape healthcare policy across the entire region. You wouldn't mind? Simone asked. I'd be proud, Dominic said. You've already accomplished so much. Why stop now? Simone applied for the position. The interview process was rigorous, involving presentations to the board and meetings with community stakeholders. But she nailed it. 2 weeks later, she received the job offer. Gloria threw a party to celebrate. All of Simone's nursing school friends came, along with her colleagues from Hayes Healthcare and Dominic's family. It felt like her whole world coming together. Look at you, Gloria said, hugging her daughter tight. Director of a major research institute at 23. I'm so proud I could burst. I learned from the best, Simone said. You taught me that hard work and determination can overcome any obstacle. No, baby. I taught you to survive. You taught yourself to thrive. The wedding took place 6 months later in a garden overlooking the bay. Simone wore a simple white dress that made her look like a princess. Gloria walked her down the aisle, crying happy tears. Dominic waited at the altar, looking at Simone like she was the only person in the world. I never imagined this, Simone whispered during their first dance. When you found me in your library that night, I was so scared and tired. I thought my life was falling apart. And now? Dominic asked. Now I have everything I ever dreamed of and more. A career I love, a family I cherish, and a partner who believes in me completely. She smiled up at him. You didn't just give me opportunities, Dominic. You gave me hope when I needed it most. You gave that to yourself, Dominic said. I just opened a door. You walked through it and built something amazing. During the reception, Simone and Dominic announced a new initiative, the Jackson Hayes Scholarship Foundation. Named after both their families, it would provide full scholarships and support services to students from low-income backgrounds pursuing healthcare degrees. We want to help students who are working 3 jobs while trying to get an education, Simone told the guests. No one should have to choose between survival and their dreams. If we can help even one person avoid that struggle, this foundation will be worth it. The guests applauded. Gloria cried again. Jordan shouted, That's my friend up there, changing the world. As the evening wound down, Simone and Dominic slipped away to a quiet corner of the garden. Happy? Dominic asked. Beyond happy, Simone said. This is everything I never knew I could have. They looked back at the party, at all the people who loved them, celebrating their union. Gloria was laughing with Dominic's mother. Jordan was dancing with some of Simone's nursing school friends. Dr. Kim was discussing healthcare policy with board members. Thank you, Simone said softly. For seeing me that night. For offering help instead of anger. For believing I was worth investing in. Thank you for accepting that help, Dominic replied. For not letting pride stop you from taking an opportunity. For working hard and proving that kindness and generosity can change lives. They kissed as fireworks lit up the sky behind them, symbolizing the bright future ahead. 5 years later, Simone sat in her office at the Community Health Research Institute, reviewing proposals from students applying to the Jackson Hayes Scholarship. Hundreds of applications poured in each year from young people facing the same struggles she once had. The foundation had helped 300 students so far, and the number grew annually. She picked up a photo on her desk, her, Dominic, and their 2-year-old son, Michael, named after Dominic's father. They'd built a beautiful life together, full of love and purpose. Her phone buzzed with a text from Gloria, coming over for Sunday dinner? I'm making pot roast. Simone smiled and typed back, we'll be there. Love you, Mom. She looked out her window at the city below, thinking about that exhausted girl studying in a cold library at 1 a.m. That girl had been desperate and scared, but she'd never given up. She'd accepted help when it was offered. She'd worked hard. She'd believed in herself even when it seemed impossible. And now she was living proof that one moment of kindness could change everything. That accepting help wasn't weakness, but wisdom. That sometimes the best thing you could do was let someone lift you up so you could reach heights you'd only dreamed of. Simone's story had a happy ending. But more importantly, she was making sure hundreds of other stories had happy endings too. And that, she thought, was the greatest success of all.